As human beings, we are all interested in happy stories, stories of romance, and stories where, well, the hero comes to the picture to save the damsel in distress. Hello, and welcome to the Eccentric Side Podcast, hosted on the Eccentric Side Plus YouTube channel. My name is Uche Odogwu, and I have Mariam Alli here to talk about the weirdness and scam involved in romantic novels, and maybe we may touch on movies as well. Hello, Miriam.
Hi.
So I read an article. This podcast episode was inspired by an article written by Miriam. I'll be dropping the article in the chat in the comment section, not comments, in the description. That was it's called, and you can feel free to go and read the whole article. So I was reading the article, and it gave me the inspiration. I was like, what exactly are these people talking about? The weirdness in romance novels. What exactly, or what gave you the inspiration to write that article, Miriam?
Well, nothing really. I've just been since the beginning of this long vacation. I don't know what to call it. Maybe vacation, maybe break or whatever ASU decides it is. I
Mm.
just decided that okay, let me just catch up on all the novels I've abandoned, and turns out most of them are romance novels,
Mm.
which yes, of course I love, but I just thought of it that most of these romance, like romance in general, just have this storyline, although it's always differs, like maybe some things might change, but it's always still general that there is always a like happily ever after
Mm.
um ending, something like that.
So growing up, we had a number of cartoons that always ended in this happily ever after line. So there's the beginning, the conflict, that is the conflict. They establish the facts, then they go into conflict, then they go into resolution, and the resolution always ends with something nice and something sweet happens at the end of the day. No, that's really struck me. I was like, what exactly does this mean? Does it mean that everything in life ends with something happy or something good? It does make me think. Another thing as well that made me feel kind of, I feel like they took advantage of me, all these romance novels. And what was that? So when I was reading books before I got to the age that I could officially and date, and before I knew what actual dating was, when I read these romantic novels, where they describe people that are in love, the butterflies in the tummy, the other weird catchphrases they use, and I kept
I
on.
cannot believe you actually read romance novel. Interesting.
But I read it. I was inquisitive, yeah, and I was quite stubborn growing up as a child. So all these books, I felt they were interesting. They had something. I was reading them, and I think I first saw it with a friend, and I read the first one like, oh, that looks interesting, and I kept on reading and reading and reading, and that gave me this false perception of how actual relationships in the real world is supposed to be. So Miriam, did this affect you in any way? Did you go into relationships having all those misconceptions about how relationships are, and you expecting that from your own relationships?
Well, okay, let me not like something like that.
So
Because
which of the misconceptions did you have going into relationships?
um the fact that okay, I don't know how I'm going to say it now. It's not really okay. Why are you laughing? Okay, this is okay. Let me just talk from the physical aspect, because
Mhm.
like everybody, when you ask someone that, okay, what do you want? Like, what's physically attracts you to a guy, and then everybody will be like, okay, I like dark, tall, and handsome, fair, handsome. But the cocoa is that everybody wants guys that are tall. What
So
about the shots, guys? Oh, now take the shots, guys. I don't know. So that's one of them. When I look at the physical aspect of as far because I don't know, maybe because I'm visually impaired, and then I cannot be okay. Maybe I'm not that fine. Doesn't mean that the person else date should not be fine.
so even though you don't think you're that fine, you have to date the tall, dark, and handsome guy
Yes,
that have the
and
abs.
now yes, and I'm
Okay.
sure most people always okay. I'm not going to generalize, but I feel like
Mm.
most people have that kind of mindset, even if we want to lie to ourselves. It's just the fact that everybody wants to date the attractive ones.
And that actually makes sense because what I'm thinking about is that you're describing your ideal guy. I was like, what is your own ideal guy, Uche? And I was like, okay, she has to be, well, I don't like girls as tall as I am. I'm quite tall, so I can't be giving birth to trees and poles, but maybe it's not so tall. Maybe the girl should not be so tall, the curves must be there, fair in complexion, preferably, you know, the hair. I would have said the eyes too, but I can't see the eyes, so that cannot apply in my own situation. Not so not on the big side, slim but with curves. And if I put that against what I learned from romantic novels growing up, it's like that is their own picture of how a an ideal, beautiful girl should look.
Yes,
So do you
yes, they're
think?
always petite most times,
Mm-hmm,
maybe curvy,
mm-hmm.
sometimes slim, but I don't know. It just have this general
Then
description.
then
All
the
of them, they
eyes.
must
Then
have been fine.
you forgot the
Yes,
eyes.
the eyes.
Mm. The hazel eyes, the blue eyes. Is it the girls or the guys that have blue eyes?
Nope, I don't know.
Don't you see it in your books?
Hmm?
Don't you see it in your books?
Oh, I do actually.
Okay, good, good. So if this video makes sense, you like, share, drop your comments. What do you think about what you're talking about today? And subscribe to the Eccentric Side Plus. So do you think, Miriam, that, and to you watching me as well, you think that these writers and these romance novels have um, created this impression in our heads that if you see a girl that does not fit this narrative, so in your subconscious mind, you don't think she's fine, or you see a girl that is not tall, it may be short, it may be handsome, but it's not just on the tall side. So you think that this narrative that I've put in these books that you have read in the past have given you this subconscious notion about what the typical beautiful male or female should look like?
Um, well, I'm sure most of these writers they just like it's just what they feel like their character should look like everybody have definition of beauty, right? So everybody well how did they say that in the view okay, I don't know.
Beauty in
Something
the eyes of
about
the
beauty
beholder.
means yes.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
so it depends on how you want to see it. Sometimes it's my actually yes, it's my actually their writings might sometimes influence
hmm.
you subconsciously, like not like yeah, I really that's what you actually think, but when you are reading most of the romance novels continuously, like you tend to want to be out of not really in touch with reality because you feel like okay maybe this is what is actually happening in until you now start maybe going out and seeing things and hearing things from
Hmm.
other people that are no fiction now. So,
Hmm. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. All those butterflies in the tummy. I remember at that time, I'm serious. I wanted to date. I was looking for the butterflies in the tummy. I couldn't find them. I was like,
yes, I that's true. The first time I ever decided to maybe have physical contact with somebody that maybe I liked. Well,
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe the butterfly did not come because maybe I don't like the person. I don't know.
Butterflies were on
According to the
strike.
butterfly, I mean they've gone on vacation. I don't know. And the electricity also, I don't know. Maybe because generally in Nigeria we have electricity issues, so that affects it.
Let me
I
share this
don't know.
story. Let me share this story of my friend. A friend of mine. I'm not going to mention her name, but if she watches it, she'll know I'm talking about her. So I'm not going to mention her name, young lady. So you won't be casted in public. So I have this friend that she started becoming intimate at a later age. Like she did not kiss until she was like in university. Yeah. So before then, she had read a lot of romance novels. So she was telling me about how when she had her first kiss in year 3 in the university, that she felt very disappointed and scammed. That she just kissed her like, okay, so like where's the magic I'm supposed to be expecting? you know, she just kissed. It was not very boring. Like, okay, don't actually I rubbed my hand against another person's hand. So like I could not, she could not just feel the electricity involved, feel the impact and every other thing they might write into these romance novels, you know. Anyway, there are a lot of things to talk about on this, but we can't cover it. Let's just round up. So, romance novels, romance movies. Do you watch romance movies, Mariam?
Well, I don't really watch. No, not really.
Don't watch romance movies. Okay, so
Maybe when I was in secondary school, but now,
oh, okay,
not really.
okay, all right, all right. So let's know your comments in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts? Did romance novels by any way affects how you began to see love when you first fell in love? Let's know in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to the Eccentric Side Plus and share this video, like, drop your comments, all that good stuff to help us make this move forward. Mariam Alli, thank you very much for being a guest on the Eccentric Side Podcast.
Thank you. But that doesn't mean that we should stop reading romance novels because they're actually interesting storylines, even though they like to fight and make up, which
Yeah.
everybody can predict whatever. But I still love romance novels anyway.
So you don't plan to stop reading romance novels?
Well, I don't think so.
I've actually stopped reading romance novels.
So what do you say?
I've actually stopped reading romance novels.
Well, yes, you should.
But you should not.
I think so. Okay, and well, okay. Since the show is about saying that, I was just going to say one thing that I think people always stereotype, like people that read romance novels, they believe that it's with ladies, and because the female gender love um happy stuff, anything happy. So I don't know. I don't think I've really seen guys that really like romance novels.
But I used to like it in the past. You know.
But you don't anymore.
No, I don't anymore. I felt scammed and I had to experience romance in the real world. Till next time when we come away from we to you, we say stay eccentric. May I say stay eccentric?
I should say what?
Stay eccentric.
Stay ex. Oh God!
Not, not
You will not go. You will not disgrace in public. Stay eccentric.